All right, Chris. So this is the plan of attack. We're gonna start with like a cold open. Gonna be something kind of funny, reference to the movie. So we're gonna start that way.
And then
Then we'll go into the introduction. You know how we normally do it. Hey, I'm Josh. You're Chris. Blah 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 blah. We'll introduce the movie,
and then
and then I don't know. We'll just go like scene by scene. You know, stuff we liked, stuff we thought was stupid.
and then
You'll do your, cut, print, moving on, and yeah, I think that'll be good.
and then
Then I'm gonna chill and maybe watch something on TV. I don't know. That's it.
and then
No, and then Chris. That's it. Then the episode's over. It's released. On to the next one.
and then
And then I'm gonna come through this screen and I'm gonna shove my foot up your ass.
and then and then and then and then and then and then.
Welcome to Crosscut, everybody. I'm your co-host Josh.
I'm your other co-host, Chris.
So with that obnoxious opening, yes, we are watching early 2000s cult classic, very referential movie called.
Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude?
You know, I had an alternate opening idea where I was going to do something like, "Dude, where's my microphone? Where's your microphone, dude?"
No.
But I like the and then one. I think the and then one's like one of the most iconic
Yeah.
lines in this movie.
And then
So-
and then.
Okay, so after doing Save It Private Ryan, which is such a great movie, I thought it would be good to sort of balance it out with just a goofy comedy. So like a buddy comedy, early 2000s. This movie is so like MTV, high energy. My introduction to this movie, because I picked it,
Mhm.
I think I said this on the podcast before for another movie where when I was in the 7th grade, I had a sleepover at like a buddy's house who was having like a birthday party. A bunch of my friends were over. We were like 12-year-olds. And he had rented a bunch of movies from Blockbuster.
What
For
was
anybody
that?
for anybody that doesn't know what Blockbuster is, well, get off TikTok on your phone, start paying attention here. Because our eyes are up here.
R.I.P. Blockbuster.
So, yeah. Blockbuster is the video store from the olden days where you used to go and rent movies.
God, I miss those.
And one of those movies that he rented that night was Dude, Where's My Car? So I remember watching this at the, this is like 2001. So the movie had just come out. And I remember watching this and just laughing my ass off of just how dumb funny this movie is.
This is how blind people say hello.
Okay. I know this movie is not good, and I'm okay with that. But my God, this movie is entertaining.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's
so
a stupid funny movie, you know.
I wanted to say that every scene to me was like memorable because it was like, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
this scene or that scene. And there's so many dumb little one lines, and I could not. I've not seen this movie. It's been a minute since I've seen this movie.
Same.
Okay, and when I was watching it in my head, a line would come to me and I would say it out loud, and then the character would say the line. Two examples were with the two guys,
The keepers.
the keepers of the, what was it called? The
The
oh my God, the
transcommunicator.
We are the keepers of the continuum transfunctioner.
they're talking to Jesse and Chester, and they go, one of them says, "Screw the universe," and then in my head I'm
The
like,
universe?
yeah, the guy goes, "Screw the universe." And then there's the great scene at the end where they're at the arcade and they're having that back and forth with the hot chicks,
Yeah.
and the one guy just goes, "Bitch." Okay, so we're jumping ahead, but yes, like every scene I'm just like, oh my God, I remember this. There's something funny going on. This
Even
movie
from the
is
very first scene, you're starting to laugh your ass off. Like when they wake up and it's like, oh hey Gene, like, are you Gene?
the guy that's just in the closet randomly just comes and just starts like, this movie has such dumb stoner humor. The guy just
Oh,
walks out and he's just like peeing on a plant in the background, and the guy is just like not even paying attention to him. Ashton Kutcher is one of our main leads with Sean William Scott.
Mhm.
He wakes up in bed And just the decoration of this room is so 2000s. Just like
Yeah.
bro, college age dude. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just like
Yep.
posters and like stickers. Like, did you even like read some of the like background posters in his room? They had like
I
weird little things
glanced
about
at
like
them, but
like taking pills and stuff like that. It was very random. And he walks out and we see Chester, played by Sean William Scott, watching Animal Planet, which comes back in the movie. Like it actually
Yes.
helps him
Twice,
multiple
actually.
times. Yeah, twice. So what happens? They get a voicemail. Again, this is before cell phone or before smartphone days. So they get an actual voicemail on their landline from their girlfriends, Wanda and Wilma, played by a very unknown at the time Jennifer Garner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I was watching this, I was like, I knew she was in that role, but like I was like, wow, this really must have been like before she blew up from like what was it, Alias and Daredevil and just
Yeah.
like stuff like that. Elektra, right?
Mhm.
So I was just like, wow, she is just like so young, but
All
it was
of 'em.
interesting. They are all. I mean, Ashton Kutcher kind of just like looks the same.
Heck,
He just
he aged well, I guess.
this movie's only like 80 minutes long, but like the opening
Mhm.
credit sequence is like 3 minutes long, and you see like all the characters like dancing in like the
Oh,
universe.
yeah.
It's very early 2000s, but I love it. So
Yeah.
before we even see Jesse and Chester, we see that. Okay, so they said, okay, well, let's go to the twins' house, right? That's what they
Yeah.
say.
But right before, yeah, you have to go to the twins' house because it's their anniversary and whatnot.
Right.
Or right before their boss just comes
Oh
in.
yeah, Mr. Pizzacoli. Because he comes in with like, isn't he? Yeah, he's holding like. No, he's not holding pizzas at this time. He does it later,
No,
right?
he just
Okay.
he just walks in,
Right.
and they're trying to hide the pizza. I'm like, put it on the roof.
And they keep throwing it off screen, and like you hear like a cat, meow, you hear like a dog like getting hit by it. Like that's just so early 2000s, but I love it.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like you don't see that anymore. I don't know, just that like high energy goofiness. Like I feel like if
Yeah.
you do that now, people would just be like, "Oh, this is stupid," but you were able to get away with it back then. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. I don't know like why things became so elevated to the point where like if you do that, it's just considered like lowbrow. It was lowbrow at the time. Like this wasn't like by no means was this considered a good movie.
No, it was never meant to be.
No. I mean,
But-
it's called Dude, Where's My Car? I like how it actually the first thing you see is based on actual events,
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
which is funny. Okay, so yeah, Mr. Pizzacoli, he's like, you know, that sets up this whole idea of like what happened last night because they keep thinking like what
Right.
happened, like we don't remember anything.
They were
So from there, they go
drunk,
outside.
so stoned.
Right. They go outside, and that's where we get the iconic, dude, where's your car? Where's my car, dude? And that kind of
Where's your car,
sets
dude?
up everything. So, and then another just dumb early 2000s scene is like, hey, there's Mrs. What's her name? And he runs out in the middle of the street,
It
and just the
runs him
lady just
over.
hits him over, and she just goes, fucking
Fucking
stoners.
stoners.
So they decide to walk. We get a funny joke where he's like, I'm so tired. And then you just realize the house is like right in the background. And then,
You
okay,
gotta
so what-
see that coming too. Like, yeah, they're gonna just not walk a block.
right. So I'm trying to think, what's the next scene? Is it where they get introduced to? Don't they get a ride? Did they get a ride from somebody? I'm trying to remember because at some
No,
point they meet.
they walk to their friend's place. with
Oh,
the
they go to
stoner dog.
right. Okay, yeah, that's right. Because then he gives them the ride
Yeah,
to the,
he gives them the ride to the
Chinese place, but then they drop
Oh.
them off outside that like it was like a smoothie place or something. That's where. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we meet their like buddy who's like kind of like into like
like a guru.
yeah guru
Speaks
just
like
being
Yoda.
like very yeah, and he's got this little dog who looks like he's dead, and they're poking him, but he's not
Dude, your
dead.
dog's
He's just
dead?
stoned out of his mind.
He's got a special pipe though.
Special pipe.
He's got a
Yeah,
special
don't mess with a
pipe.
special pipe. I like. Could you tell when it was the dog and when it was like
The
a puppet?
animatronic, yeah.
I thought it was funny. I like that.
The animatronic's just like close that.
So that gets us introduced to this guy who I don't know if you ever seen the movie Office Space, but he's from the movie Office Space.
Never actually saw it.
Okay, that's a good one. That's kind of what he's most known from was Office Space, but he okay, so he gets in the car, they go to this Chinese restaurant. That's where we get the iconic and
then
I do like Ashton. Oh, actually, funny enough, I used to live right by where that Chinese restaurant was.
really.
Yeah, it's in Burbank. I forgot how I found that out. It was like a video or something like that. I think it's like a donut place now. Because yeah, I used to live like right off of that. It never actually was a Chinese restaurant. They just said
It's
it.
just the
It was just
setting.
decorated to be, yeah. But yeah, we get this like probably one of the most iconic scenes of the movie, which I feel like is still referred to this day. Where yeah, he's just
Yeah.
ordering out of the drive-through, and he's like, "What do you want, dude? Like 3 garlic chicken, wonton
egg roll.
soups, and then, no, and then you're gonna put it in a brown paper bag and bring it out to me because I'm hungry, and then I'm gonna come in there and put my foot up your ass." And like it just like grabs it and just like destroys the machine. Oh, because then it comes back later where they're like, "Oh, we know who knows it," and you see the two guys, and you see it's all like taped together, like taped back together. Then that's when he drops them off
At
and
the
we
little
meet,
plaza, whatever.
yeah, like little plaza, and that's where we meet Chrissy Boner.
Oh.
Now, how old were you when you first saw this movie?
Woof.
I was 12.
I want to say 12, 13, something around there.
All right. I mean, did you not find Chrissy Boner super hot back then?
Of course.
I don't know what it was about 12-year-old male brain, but like, I mean, she was very good looking rewatching it, but like, I just remember her like looking like super hot back then when I was like 12. And she still looked really good, but for some reason, I just remember her being like 12-year-old me was like, damn.
Of course. She's like the bombshell of that movie, you know?
And like when she like puts his hand on her, and I'm just like, as a kid, I was like, whoa, like to me that was like watching.
He put his hand on her.
I mean, you got to realize for me that was like the closest to watching pornography as a kid, pretty much. If I actually got to see boobies in a movie, which funny enough, the movie I was referencing that I watched in that same sleepover was Leprechaun 4 in Space, which I got to see boobies. I remember I think at the slumber party saying boobies, but I just remember like stuff like this just being like, ooh, that's hot. Now you watch it as an adult, you're just phased, you're just jaded, you're just like, yeah, okay, yeah, she's good looking.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
Chrissy Boner, just another funny. The amount of sexual innuendo in this movie is insane.
God, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Like the scene where they're like fantasizing about being rich and they're having the party at the house, and Ashton Kutcher's got like the lotion. He's just like spraying it from he's spraying the lotion from like his groin area.
Yep.
Oh God,
it's more Chester's daydream.
Oh yeah, his fantasy. We'll give you what was it?
We will give you erotic pleasure if you give us the
pleasures.
transfunctioner.
Can I have my oral pleasure now? Not yet. And because there's another one where the hot chick or the leader of the hot chicks eats the popsicle and she just puts it all in her mouth, and you just see the guys and you're just like. But this is where the same scene with Chrissy Boners, we were also introduced to Tommy and his buffoons. These are the most generic bully types ever. But I love the scene. He's played by Jerry O'Connell, right?
I mean,
he was.
I can't picture him in anything else right now, but I.
Okay, do you remember Scream 2?
Vaguely.
Do you remember the boyfriend in Scream 2 that they thought was the killer? He was also the fat kid in Stand By Me.
Okay. Oh, that's him. Okay.
Yeah, that's him. So Jerry O'Connell, this is his twin brother, Charlie O'Connell. So if you know Jerry O'Connell, it looks just like him, but it's his twin brother. I think he's funny in this movie. I like there's a really funny scene, right, where we'll get introduced to the nerds in a little bit, but
for that.
they call the nerds and like, hey, we have the continuum transfunctioner. They're like, oh, let's get in my mom and dad's minivan. And then they call Tommy and they're like, hey, we have it. He's like, come on, let's get in my stepdad's pickup truck. Yeah. Like that's just so telling of like these characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, we meet Tommy and these buffoons. They're just jack-offs. They're just beating people up. They put the trash cans over them. I do like how Ashton Kutcher just like walks into that table at the like with the trash can over his head.
Yeah.
And then okay, so where do we go from there? So we
From there, that's pretty much where the nerds come in, I think.
that's right. With
Yeah, because they kidnapped them. They put them in the van.
Was it Zoltan?
Zoltan.
Yeah.
Zoltan!
Which is funny because that name, I've used that name before, just like anytime I want like a weird alien name, I've used the name Zoltan, but I never could remember where I heard it from. When I was rewatching this movie, I was like, oh my God, that's Zoltan. Like that, now I remember. They're in the minivan and they're like, I'm Klukantu and I'm Xenor and I'm Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Jeff.
Just Jeff. So yeah, now that we're introduced to this continuum transfunctioner, they're like, man,
Right.
we forgot. I guess we can kind of glaze over the strip club scene where that's kind of introduced to where they got the money with this like transvestite stripper lady.
That was funny as hell.
Oh my God. When he's at the bar by himself after Ashton Kutcher leaves and he's like, you know, what did I do last night? And he turns around and it's like all the girls with the water pitchers and they just like, oh my God. Like you would not, I just feel like you would not see that humor nowadays.
Nah. I think now those days will be like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Right. So yeah, now we're introduced to this whole idea. Okay, they got all this money. They don't know what happened. They go to the twins' house. We're introduced to the twins. Shenanigan happens where they make a mess of the whole place. There's a dude on the roof. That's where we find out, okay, Jennifer Gardner. And they pretty much get kicked out of the house.
Right.
So now it's just like every scene is just there's something goofy going on.
Yeah. It doesn't stop.
Right. I think it was also where they meet the bullies is where they meet the hot chicks.
We are hot chicks.
Yeah, the hot chicks.
Do you have the continuum transfunctioner? Because I think those two guys are also like hanging out at that time, I think. Oh, I just had balloons go off.
No, yeah, because it was the hot chicks, and then right after they turned around, then the guys are there. I was like, yeah, no, we don't know, no.
And then they go get their suits. They're in their the two biggest product placements were Mountain Dew and Adidas for me. They're wearing their suits. They have their fantasy. They have that car scene where they're like trying to like one up each other, and fucking Fabio's the other guy in the car.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure like so many like funny scenes that kept popping back when I was like, oh my God, that's this scene or that scene.
Yeah,
one of my favorite scenes is still the ostrich farm where they try to go get the car and Andy Dick's in the cage. And he's like, every line he has is so fun. He's like, email me freakingcage.com or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's like, I know the answer. Pass to me. Pass to Mark. And then Sean William Scott gives the correct answer and he's like, oh, I said brown. The answer. Oh my God. There's just like every scene though. And then you mentioned the one earlier where they're at the blind school, which is so offensive, but just like the one kid hits the guy in the crotch with the bat because his pager goes off.
Yeah.
And then we see the kind of heavy set blind kid. He's like, well, can I touch your face? Because that's how we. And then
see who you are.
Touches their boobies. Like this is how we shake
slowly
hands.
Down. Is this normal? Yeah, this is how blind people say hello.
And I don't know if you caught it when he walks off. He's like, I have to go be alone now.
Be alone now.
Oh man.
And then the guy gets hit again in the groin with a football.
That's right, because the little kid in the slip and slide hits him again. Oh, it's just like this humor that I love it, dude. This movie just made me laugh so hard. Like, there's no time wasted, really, if you think about it. There's no like extra baggage. Like everything there's something happening. And then we finally get. I do like the scene where they're taken to the nerd guy's house, and it's like this huge, beautiful farm.
House or something.
Yeah, it was like, oh, be quiet, but they're taking a nap right now.
Yeah.
And then you see the barn, and then they're put in the barn, and then they're at the they're like meeting with the guys, and they keep popping the bubble wrap.
Our prophecy.
The whole time they're there, I kind of wanted to like, can I pop these too?
It's almost just like aesthetically, you're just like, oh, I just want to pop it. Yeah. So it's just funny that they keep popping it, and I like how they put on the bubble suits, but like nobody recognizes them until
I know
they have to. I mean, it's just whatever. But yeah, Hal Sparks plays like the leader of the cult gang or whatever, and they're funny. I really like
Okay.
them.
I think the most you see him afterwards at the arcade.
That's right. And then we pretty much get to the arcade, which is where this
Mhm.
movie ends.
Because once the hot chicks converge into one giant hot
One
chick,
giant hot chick.
uh, the line that always cracks me up.
Wait, can I guess it? Because it just popped in my head. Is it, Daddy, I want to go on that ride? Me
Me
too.
too, son. Me too.
Oh, that's another iconic line that I feel like I've said that in my life for like a joke.
It's you can't help but laugh at
I
that.
know. It's so dumb.
It's just too good.
I love that arcade, dude. That arcade, I'm just like, man, I want to go there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As a kid too, I was like, wow, that arcade looks awesome.
It does. It looks like a lot of fun. Maybe it's
Yeah.
still around. I looked it up. It's in like Santa Clarita. Because you don't really
Mhm.
see like iconic arcades anymore that like that where there's like putt
Not
putt
really.
and like it looked like it had like laser tag and
Yeah.
had this just
yeah.
like cool aesthetic to it.
Like now it's
Um,
just like mini golf and that's it.
Right. But yeah, I always love the ending of this movie because I love that arcade scene. I just thought it like it
Mhm.
had such a cool look to it. So yeah, the hot chicks, there's a big back and forth between these two space dudes and the hot chicks, and who do they give the continuum transfunctioner to, which they realize was this little what are those things called again?
The
that he was
Rubik's
playing?
Cube.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Chester keeps playing with anything and gets it, and it turns out that's the continuum transfunctioner. And they have to decide who. And I like how they like, oh, how what score did we get on the final? And then that's how the
Oh
pudding
yeah.
comes back, which I thought was kind of clever.
Yeah.
So they give it to the right guys. They save the universe, so they don't screw the universe. And the hot chick decides to turn into, or the five hot chicks turn into one hot chick,
Bitch.
and bitch, and they have to basically destroy her with this machine. And again, going
Right.
back to the Animal Planet, he's like, he uses the little straw.
The straw is the most powerful tool for the chimpanzees. The magic straw.
And then they Men in Black them to forget everything.
Yeah,
And then I guess
beam.
it's like nothing happened. It's like the same day, but like now their car's there
Shibby.
and they're with their girlfriends. And
Oh, and the special gifts.
their special gifts.
I love the note. The note always cracks me up. Like, thank you for saving the universe. Here's a gift for your girlfriends. Hope they like them. We know you will.
And then the movie ends with them driving off. And I totally
Right.
forgot about this scene that we'd even mentioned was the tattoo scene.
Oh,
Which is,
dude.
dude, what does yours say?
Sweet! What about mine? Dude! What does mine say? Sweet!
You saw Scary Movie 2, right? Because they spoof it in Scary Movie 2, but I don't want to say it on here because it's so bad. But anybody that knows that scene will be laughing at it. But yeah, that's like another iconic scene of just
Yeah.
like
Oh
that
yeah,
back and
that's
forth.
that you can always remember from that movie. Dude, yeah, to what's it say?
Sweet. It's like the who's on first joke. Yeah, we couldn't end without having to talk about that scene as well. But there are so many iconic scenes, at least for like
There really is.
millennials, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how many adult like people like over 40
No.
might be talking about this movie, but just like being a 12-year-old watching this movie, man, you were laughing and it was just funny. And it was like, I don't know, it's just like a fun, entertaining
It
movie.
is. It is. I say this movie falls in the category like Idiocracy
Dumb and
Yeah.
Dumber.
and Dumb and Dumber. Yeah,
Yeah.
those.
Just
It's
buddy,
still entertaining.
dumb.
They're stupid, but they're funny.
Right.
Yeah.
And I tell you, man, I don't see comedies like that anymore. I feel like comedies are they try to be I don't
More
I wanna almost
politically
use
correct with everything.
that, but also like elevated humor where it tries to be like smarter than you. Like nothing about this movie is like this is
But
a
then
joke that's
again-
going to go over your head.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like all these movies, they really were heavily offensive.
I know. I'm just
Now,
wondering how much would get
you
cut
say
out.
one line,
nowadays.
you're like blacklisted everywhere.
Dude, I love this movie.
Sweet.
It's been a minute since I've seen it, but man, like just rewatching it, I was just like, I just remembered so much about it. Like I said, there was a line that'll come into my head right before the character says it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Stupid funny is the best way I can describe it, or dumb
Oh, yeah.
funny, however you want to put it. If you just want to like turn your brain off for like 80 minutes, this is like the perfect type of movie for that. Ashton Kutcher and Sean William Scott, they got great chemistry together, man. I
They
kind of would have liked to
do.
see them like do more stuff together. I think they were at one point rumored to have done the Dukes of Hazzard movie that was Jessica Simpson, but I don't think Ashton Kutcher, he ended up like dropping out or just wasn't in it. I know
Mm.
Sean William Scott was in it. It's
Could
a
you
lot of fun.
imagine if they did a Dude, Where's My Car 2?
I thought about that. I was like, I thought this movie did okay. I mean, maybe at that point, just Ashton Kutcher was like, because I don't think he kind of wanted to do this movie in the first place, or he was just like, oh, this is really dumb. But I think he read the script and was like, okay. But at that point in his career, he wasn't a movie star yet. And then I think he started to become a movie star pretty shortly after. So I'm sure
Right.
the idea of like a sequel was probably like, nah, I don't want to do that. But like, what if they did that now?
I can see it kind of like in a Dumb and Dumber situation where it's like 30 years later. And it's,
I would love that. I'm all for it.
I think that they could pull it off. I think they
I
could.
think they could. Dude, I don't know. Would it still be the car or would it be like something else?
Probably like another car, but
Or like,
I think
dude,
that-
where's my scooter? Or I don't know, something modern.
dude, where's
Dude,
my
where's my
wax?
Tesla?
Ah,
It's technically it was a 20th Century Fox movie, so I guess now it's a Disney property. So any Disney employees listening, make it happen. All right. Well, Chris, wrap it up.
dude, where's my car? Awesome movie to watch. Switch your brain off. Have a laugh. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment to our channel. If you have any suggestions, we'll hear it. Cup print. Moving on.
Shibby!
Shibby.
All right.
Bitch.